you the news. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Navel Gazing, Valley Indy podcast. My name is Eugene Driscoll. I'm an editor, reporter with valleyindy.org. It's an online newspaper covering Ansonia, Derby, and Seymour, Connecticut's lower Naugatuck Valley. So, this interview is with Jason Carlucci of the Do Drop In. It is an edited and condensed version of the interview I did with Mr. Carlucci during The Great Give back on May 5th. The Great Give was a 36-hour fundraiser for area nonprofits. 400, raised like $3.2 million, something like that. A lot of money, a lot of donors. Thanks to everybody who donated to the Valley Indy, all 201 of you, very much appreciated. But, so I live streamed and did 22 interviews. I was live 21 hours of the 36-hour event, and in the very last hour, I had in Mr. Carlucci at the 7 p.m. hour. And why'd I have him in? Jay does a lot for the community, and I like having the perspective once a year as I do all these Great Give interviews. You know, I do nonprofit leaders, local leaders. He's like the business guy. He gives you a sense of what it is to be a small business owner at this very moment in the Valley. And the last couple of years, obviously, have been extremely challenging for small business owners. COVID, now inflation. And we talk about that. Jay goes into that. It was an enlightening conversation for me because we don't have a business writer or a business desk here at the Valley Indy. It's one guy. Tend to concentrate on what we can cover well, which is politics and breaking news, police fire, that kind of stuff. But so anyway, I thought I would cut down the interview and get to the best parts, and I hope it's entertaining because we also talk about sort of the craft beer craze that lifted the Do from sort of a hole in the wall, a little bit of an old man bar, into this destination where you have to make reservations sometimes to get a seat there, which is just amazing to me. Because, by the way, the music you're hearing, it's from the Bad Slugs playing under me. The Bad Slugs, Ride the Dinosaur. Just want to credit them. But the Dewdrop gets a lot of press. I mean, I think they were on a podcast. Just since I interviewed Jay on May 5th, he was on a podcast locally, I think out of Shelton. Some pint of something or other, the Pinters, the Pinters Kiss, Pinto Comics, Comics of Pints. They went there and posted pictures with Scary Larry from Derby. But me and the Dewdrop go way back, other media outlets, other podcasts. I was going to the Dewdrop before Jay owned it. All right? Listen up. Because I used to work, I was a police reporter / web reporter in Danbury, but I lived in Derby, so I would come home every day at by 2 or 3 o'clock, and, I lived on E Street. Where do you go to? Where I got my wife. I got to call my wife. But where do you go to get something to eat or something like that? Dewdrop was nice and close, so I've seen it transform into what it is today. So, and I wrote the first story. I don't know if it was the first, but I wrote about the Dewdrop at some point when I was with the Hartford Courant, about 2007, maybe 2008. I don't know. Wrote about their burgers. So you're welcome, everybody. The whole Dewdrop becoming popular because of me. Here's Jay Carlucci.
All right, there we go.
Looking better than ever.
Not bad for almost 50.
Not a day over 21, ladies and gentlemen. You know him. The man, the myth, the legend. Jay Carlucci of the Do Drop In. Hey, Jay.
Eugene, how are you? Can I use your cell or no?
Here.
Yeah. Sign on to the video for me. I'm gonna keep it near me while I do this.
Just hearing Kenna, that was spoken like a true wife. Ken, I gotta get what?
Yeah. Come on. Meatloaf.
What does he want? Leave me alone. Oh, he's talking to that Driscoll, that creepy guy from the bar 10 years ago.
Did before. Go to the Facebook and Valley Indy and just hit to go live and then bring it to me, please.
So, Jay, in years past, you had you had COVID to contend with.
I did.
Last year and the year before in terms of running a business.
Not only running a business, but I actually ended up with it personally. I ended up in the hospital for a week and a half.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
What do you have any lingering effects from it? Or you're
I
healthy
actually
now?
do. I have a few lingering still hanging in there that doesn't want to let go of me.
Oh, I am sorry to hear that, Jay. I had no idea.
Oh, it's all right. It is what it is. We at this point. I mean, I don't know too many people who haven't had it. So
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, just me because as you can see, I live in my my DJ booth up the road from the Dewdrop here. So.
I think it's the mustache that collects the particles as before they fly in your nose.
People don't know this. Fauci's got to know if you're just a complete dirtbag, you're totally COVID free. Nobody's getting it in my household, at least in the basement so far. Well, maybe before we go to that, because I was going to ask you, just as a small businessman, how are things going? But I just want to ask you flat out if there's anything you want to promote, any events, because I know you're a community-minded guy, and over the years you've had you've been involved with a lot of civic stuff. Do you have anything you particularly wanted to talk about, or any events that are coming up that you wanted to push?
But we are doing the Relay for Life, which is up in the first weekend of June again. So that's definitely the big one that always holds a big place in my heart. So that'll be the first weekend of June down over there, and in the greens across from Inline Plastics in Shelton, so which is always a great family event to raise money for to fight against cancer. So other than that, it's just busy working right now. Family, you know how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, these LED lights, you'll probably get a kick out of this as the father of a daughter. I mean, like, I'm in my basement, right? I'm asking people to donate to, God bless the Valley. Because where else is some guy sitting in his basement looking like I do going to be able to raise $15,000? But it works here, So, but I was kind of self-conscious. I'm like, well, I don't know. These YouTubers put up these damn lights everywhere. Let me try that. So I stole the LED lights from my daughter. Those are supposed to be in her room. And I thought I was cool, but she saw me. She happened to see my wife had Facebook open, and she started freaking out this morning. She's in third grade, that I stole her LED lights, to the point she came down here, and I thought it was going to get ugly because she's a temper. I mean, she's just like, holy cow. I thought she was going to destroy my little backdrop here, but luckily she didn't. So how about, Jay, in just terms of being a small businessman, like we were talking, you think back 2 years ago, how everybody was just flying by the seat of their pants when all the lockdown orders went into effect, and then you could do carry out and all that kind of stuff happened. I mean, that seems like almost ancient history at this point, but what a wild couple of years. How you doing now in the current economy in the Valley?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked before. I've talked to people. I mean, Dewdrop is always blessed with the amount of people that support us. So even through COVID, we held our own. This stove, I'll tell you, this it's a little different now, that's for sure. In some way, this inflation business is made it more difficult, not only for myself, but for a lot of businesses. The cost of running a business now it's unimaginable, to be honest with you. It's insane, to tell you the truth. It's cost that I wouldn't expect for another 10 years, if not more. Not only the cost of it, but just the lack of being able to get product in, equipment in. Some of the stuff you can't even get anymore. Some of it's 10 months out. You never know. It's a little crazy. It's definitely a lot more frustrating, and a lot more difficult as far as where you need your final numbers to be, to make sure you could pay your staff and keep overhead and be able to pay your bills and put some money in your pocket. It's definitely more difficult. Then what was when COVID they shut you down, but at least they came up with things that could help you out financially. And at least the prices of things were where they should be, where now things are just like, it's insane right now. Anything and everything.
And what are the types of price increases you're facing as a bar restaurant owner? Like what's the big jumps? Because I'm completely ignorant of it.
Well, I mean, it starts with the food, and at first it was everybody made a big thing about the wings, how much they gone up, and rightfully so. I mean, they tripled. It was ridiculous. But little by little, I know we do watch the news and we do pay attention, but I don't think really the communication is very limited when it comes to how it affects businesses, just as much as affects, residents for that matter. So, but I mean, just like going to the supermarket, a bit for a business, it's 10 times worse and 10 times more expensive. So everything from not just our wings, from lettuce to garlic to oil, the changes to oil, gas, electric, insurance, all of these, things, all these numbers that have to be factored into everything is just like, you can't keep up. I tell people I would look at my, every quarter, I would look at my food bills just to see, what increase went up, what's going on, if the price is changing, anything, every quarter of the year. So 4 times a year, that was it. Now I have to look at them every single week, along with any other business for that matter. And I got to hold my breath and think like, okay, what's going up this week? You know what I mean? Like what's going to be this week? So am I going to get everything? Is it going to cost? What's the cost of it's going to be? Some things disappear for 2 weeks, then they come back and it's twice as much. It's a lot of adapting to it, figuring out, okay, if I could get this, I can't get this, I have to bring in this, or if I can't get this, I'm not going to sacrifice my quality. So I have to figure out other ways to make it happen. So it's a juggling act for sure.
I guess the other thing I wanted to ask you about, when we had talked last year, you and Dominic Thomas, the prominent land use attorney of the Naugatuck Valley, you were in front of the ZBA, you were in front of every board in Derby for like a good year. It felt like,
yeah.
With plans to sort of reconfigure stuff and this, that, and the other thing. But that was then you decided, what's the latest of that? I think we talked one time, but I don't ever remember what happened.
Yeah,
with it.
I mean, it goes back to what I was saying before. This whole inflation thing. It was just a matter of. At first, it was a matter of how much it was going to cost me, and the number was just like way astronomical, way beyond what I thought it would be. Not that I knew it wasn't going to be cheap, obviously, but it was going way beyond numbers. The cost of product and material was just insane. And not only that, the time frame in which I could get it was almost impossible to put everything together. I would have to put it into pieces and order it and then have to store it till I find a place to put it and keep it until I got the rest of it and this and that. And it just was, it's an exciting idea. And but I needed to take 2 steps back and just say, okay, you know what, let's just take 2 steps back. Let's let this settle down a little bit and see where we're at in the future. Unfortunately, this past year, it hasn't really settled as far as all this, pricing and product availability is concerned. So I'm kind of, again, I'm just sitting back, doing what I normally do at the dewdrop. And I think that in the future, I'll see what happens when I think that it's kind of back to reasonable terms where I want to be as far as the cost, the efficiency and all that. Then I will do some. In the meantime, I do have another idea that I'm sure soon enough everybody will hear from. It's not as demanding as the first idea was. That's for sure. When it came to all the blasting and all that stuff, it's a little more tighter up against the building sort of thing we're working on now. Again, I'm not rushing it. No one really knows about it because I have no plans to show people just yet because I can't even get half of the stuff that I need to put it together right now.
Everybody. Yeah. I feel what you're saying here, because we're all just sort of riding this bizarre wave. Cause I not to get too personal, we refinanced my house. Mm-hmm. We put in a new bathroom and then we're like, I need a new kitchen. I mean, the floor is starting to crumble. When you go into my kitchen and try to open the drawers, the face of the drawer just comes right off. Like it's literally falling apart. Yeah. And so we're finally like, all right, come on, we got to do it. And it's like the prices are there's no way it's going to happen. So we're just trying to, like we're just trying to ride it out and hope that this returns to sanity. And then I see headlines saying like, well, maybe this is the new norm, and it's just like, oh my, I don't even know.
Listen, I love you and I know you, I respect what you do, but
here we go.
We got to stop. We got to stop listening to the headlines, because what people say and the headlines and what actually is happening are 2 separate things, And I hate to say this, but and this has got nothing to do with you, but there's a lot of, I don't want to say false information out there, but it's just not truthful information. It's great.
The article I'm talking about, I'm just, because there is I think there's a pressure, and again, it's above me, so I can't speak from personal experience. Sure. But there does seem to be. Especially when there's reporting on the economy on a national scale from the big publications. Yeah. it's just what the headline is like, whatever. And then the next day it's something else. And then they contradict each other. There's no, it's whatever. They just, whatever gist they need in the mill. So I didn't even actually read that article. So I'm like, well, this just sounds whatever. But no, I get what you're saying there as well. I thought you were going to hurl some insult at the local media. Because one thing, it's like,
No.
I will say, Jay, like anytime, like, I'm sort of vocal on the Valley Indy Facebook page a little bit. If somebody starts accusing me of being whatever, a liberal or whatever, a libtard or whatever they start calling me. And I'm always just like, what? Because, I'm not even involved politically. I'm not even a member of a party. But then 9 times out of 10, because I'm always like, if somebody really gets under my skin, I click his profile. And then 9 times out of 10, it's like mutual friends, Jason Carlucci. And I'm like, how does everybody, the entire Dewdrop family, it's always the common denominator, which is, Andrew Backlick just screamed fake news in the.
Tell Extra to join us. Get him in.
Yeah, well, Backlick, I don't even know how to get this to him. Backlick, he's like off fishing. He lives on a lake all of a sudden.
I know, he lives a life. He
put a couple of years in Derby City Hall. Everybody loved him. He was like the saint of Derby. And he's like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go hang out at the lake. I don't want to, Pebbles. Yeah. I did use his dog for fundraising promotion, though. I stole it off his Facebook page. So good, I guess I shouldn't complain that much. So,
hey, listen, it comes with our territory, right? I mean, I own a bar or restaurant, so the stuff that is written is insane. It comes out and I'm just like, what? I'm like reading it. Some of these things that people write, I'm like, what? I was like, oh my God. I just scratched my head. I'm thinking, like, really? Is this what we've come down to? Like, seriously, I
didn't even think of that. Yeah, if you get like an angry customer, somebody has to wait a little longer. Forget about it. Yeah, people are you get an angry customer. If I don't let them in because I forgot to bring ID, I'm like the worst enemy of the world. I'm the enemy of the state. If I cut them off because they're drinking too much, God forbid, I'm just like, we're this, we're that. I'll never go there again. Blah blah blah. So. It is what it is, man. You got to have thick skin in both our businesses, right? You got to be able to take it. We already know, like no matter what you write, half the people are going to love it. The other half are going to be pissed off about it. It's the same thing. No matter what I do, most people are going to enjoy. Some people are going to be pissed at it. So unfortunately, you got a job to do. I got a business to run. I got 33 employees that I'm responsible for. And, it's not easy. And we make the best decisions that we think is, what's best for us, and hopefully it works out. Right. Yeah. And it's funny to hear, it's been a while since I've been a regular at the Dewdrop, but I can attest to the fact, like, Jay has patience. I mean, it's hard to get under Jay's skin. And I used to try. I mean, you get bored sometimes. Let's see if we can mess with Jay. There's all kind of, he put the, if you look through all the Valley Indy donations at donate.valleyindy.org, but there's one donation, it just says ketchup thief. And that's Jay will never, although I was telling the guy Spears, I'm like, Ryan, this is the best marketing thing that ever happened to the Valley Indy. That one time you were accused of stealing ketchup. It comes up every year. People wonder about it when it shows up on our donation. It's great. It's probably making the Valley Indy money at this point. Yeah. I mean, we're a nonprofit, but you know what I mean? It's hitting us. We're heading towards goal. Yeah. How about Jay, in terms of, here's Tom Harbison. We got a comment from Tom Harbison. His family owns IDA right across the street from you that they make okay, you know what it is. You know your neighbor. He says, Dewdrop's a good neighbor. Construction materials are going to continue to be high. Good luck in your plans. P.S. Get ready for a bunch of contractors in the area once the high voltage wires start to get replaced. First phase is between Ansonia and Derby substation. That's right. There's this giant project United Illuminating is undertaking. The high tension wires that go across the Housatonic, basically right by you. They're going to be replacing them. That's all getting replaced. So it's like this massive infrastructure project that's going to start soon. So,
I'll be looking forward to it.
Sell those guys some beer. And like speaking of beer, now that I brought it up, I mean, has the price of Bud Light gone up? That's what I want to know. Maybe these craft beers, but what about Bud Light?
Not everything. Everything. Bud Light, Mick Ultras, Coors Light, they all gone up.
Coors Light?
Yeah.
That's un-American.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not even a real beer.
Yeah. And okay. Thanks, snob. All right. Sorry. I forgot you're from Bronxville.
Not from Bronxville. I don't know where you get Bronxville from.
Where
I
you
think
from?
you make up a different place.
Scarsdale?
You make it every time we talk. You make up a different place where I live, and I know that's that inside joke that you got going. I just shake my head.
With myself.
It's actually good because I'd rather people not know where I live and where I'm from anyway, except for people I grew up with.
Hey, Jay went to Sarah Lawrence. All right.
Yeah.
So money earned in Mount Vernon. What was I going to ask you? Oh, I just totally, how about, the Route 34 project is now underway in Derby.
It's a great thing for the city of Derby. Yeah. I think that myself, any business, any person has been looking forward to this me and Ken and my wife were laughing about this the other day. One of the reasons why I even bought the Dewdrop is the very first thing that I seen when I drove into Derby was the big billboard right over there by the Derby Shelton Bridge that hasn't been up in years. It was probably before you even got here, Eugene. Not even sure when you got here. And it said the upcoming Derby. And it was this bright, beautiful picture of what Derby was going to look like. And it was 16 and a half years ago. So I've been waiting for that to come true for 16 and a half years. I'm happy to see, the mayor and his staff, and even staffs ahead of him get out there and fight for it and work for it. And finally, it's going to begin. It's going to start. It's going to take time, but I think it's a great thing for the city of Derby. It's going to bring in a lot of, I like the ideas that everybody's bringing. It's not too much. It's just enough for a small city, which is perfect. Bring in some extra tax cash in the future, some extra businesses, some extra traffic, and we're going to need that extra space. And I look forward to it, for now.
Yeah. I had on Rick Dunn of the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. He's the executive director of that thing, and they've been a key player in shepherding the Route 34 widening project through the various bureaucracies for a decade now. Yeah. And he was saying last night, for anybody from Derby who might have missed it, he is saying, he's like, look, and he lives in Derby. He's born and raised here. So he's saying there is you hear concerns that, at the end of the day, it's going to be like the other side of Derby. It's going to be like 34 over near the Big Y, like it'll be a highway. And he's like, I'll have to move out of Derby if that's the case. He's like, it's going to be a wider road. Traffic will move better. But he's like swearing on a Bible, it'll still be pedestrian friendly. So that was as of last night. Rick.
Yeah, we've seen. I don't think there's anybody trying to hide anything, right? Everybody's kind of seen plans and ideas of people. I haven't seen anything that's concerning. And obviously there's some concerns, and rightly so. There should be, but for the most part, I haven't seen anything too drastic that's all of a sudden going to completely change the landscape of Derby. So I don't know. We'll see. It's good. It's a 2-3 year project for me, and more when you start including everything that's going to happen around it, right? Because it's only going to bring new businesses and new construction in. So to tell you the truth, I hope I'm retired by then. So I'll let someone else have to worry about it when this is all ready.
And then one thing I wanted to ask you about also, Jay. I remember I was going to the Dewdrop right before you bought it. I remember it under the previous owner. I remember you showing up and I remember like you were, there's the guy that's thinking about buying the bar. So whenever that was, that's our history together. Yeah. I was the guy in the corner, and then I would sometimes, I learned really quick. I still would do it all the time. I was working from 7 to 3 at the News Times of Danbury, right? Those were my hours. So I would hang out at the Dewdrop starting at 3 o'clock every day. And I'd play Irish music on your jukebox all the time, which would drive people nuts. But to see the Dewdrop just take off like a mushroom cloud in terms of sort of riding that craft beer that when that first came on, and then Derby became this destination place for people, and still is, with Bad Sons and the Hops Company across the way and the Dewdrop. Now, how are things in terms of staying, I guess, relevant, for lack of a better word, as a bar? Do you have to still make changes all the time? Are the tastes change? Do they change? Or is everyone just like me and totally basic?
No, I'm going to, before I get into this, I love when you say relevant, I love it because and I'll explain it. But first, I'll say this. I remember everybody doing it. The funny part about the Dewdrop is that the craft beer, I was one of the first bars in that area to bring in to strictly push the craft beer at the time. 75% of the beers that are in Connecticut aren't even around anymore. I'm sorry. Let me take it back. 75% of the beers that are in Connecticut weren't available in Connecticut when I first bought the Dewdrop, right? 16 years ago, even 12 years ago. And Connecticut has just grown, oh my God, exponentially. It's insane. Not only from bringing it outsourced throughout the states, throughout the world for that matter, but now Connecticut locally is just like unbelievable right now when it comes to breweries, distilleries, farms, it's wineries, it's insane. So that's a good thing. But the craft beer was actually more popular a little bit before the wings were at the Dewdrop. It brought in a really a crowd that kind of like coincided with the wings at the time. So that's how relevant the craft beer was for me, at least, you know, in the Dewdrop. As far as staying relevant, I always say this, I talk to a lot of business owners. I go, there is never a day that passes that I don't continue I don't continue for my business to be relevant ever a day. 16 and a half years. I tell everyone, you have to be relevant. However it is to be relevant, you have to figure that out, whether it's changing your menu, adding flavors, whether it's something like this, talking to, you know, getting your face out in the public, which is what I find myself doing more over the past few years. Now that the business kind of, you know, with managers and they're able to do what they, you know, can do the way I want them to do it. But you have to stay relevant as a business. You can never just be satisfied with what you've been doing and think that it's going to last, because the truth of the matter is the harsh realities of business, they're for everybody, regardless of how successful you are. The Dewdrop, has been the top for many years now, for the past 10 years now, to be honest with you. But at any given moment, I could drop to the bottom and lose everything that I've ever worked for. So to me, every day I wake up and I think, okay, how am I going to stay relevant? Me and my wife and my staff, we talk about it all the time. What's the next big thing? What's the next flavor? What's the next food item I'm going to bring? Part of that is keep in touch with the things that are happening throughout the world. You know, I'm always reading things in articles, papers, the internet with bigger markets like New York, California, markets like that are usually the first to try new trends, new foods, new drinks, new liquor, everything, new beers and stuff. They usually tend to be the first around. So I'll pay attention to those markets, see what's happening, try to be one of the first around here to bring it in, give it a taste, see how it's going to go, see how it can blend it in with what I do at the Dewdrop. So, you know, staying relevant is just a matter of like figuring out how you want to stay relevant in a business, but always never underestimate it. Never think like, okay, I'm good. You know, never say, okay, business is good. This is what I'm known for. And this is what I'm going to do. It's great. It's great to be known for that, but there's always room to be better, to increase revenue and to keep moving forward. So I'm there, 16 and a half years, Eugene. That's a generation. You know, the next generation of people coming into my business who know nothing about my past there, right? Know nothing about the old Dewdrop. They're just here now in the present. So I have to prepare for that by staying relevant as best I can.
I mean, one thing, just as a personal observer of you at the Dewdrop, and again, like, I mean, my frame of reference is old at this point. I mean, I'm 48, but I always liked, even as the Dewdrop became more and more popular over the years, it was still, you could go in there at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. It was still a neighborhood bar. I never felt unwelcome, because sometimes you can go to places, you know, you don't look a certain way or whatever. You're not a certain age. You know, you feel like a creep in there, like a lurker. But the Dewdrop somehow manages to mix all kinds of different people in one place, and everyone always feels welcome, which I guess, I don't know if that's by design or just the way the place is.
No, that's something that we worked on for years. You know, I mean, like, everybody should feel welcome, right? And especially in my business. I mean, this is a bar restaurant business. You rely on people to come into your doors, hang out for a couple hours, forget about, you know, what's happening outside there in the world. You know, my job is to bring you into our realm, our vibe, our atmosphere, and to laugh, right? And speak loud and meet new people and forget about your bills and the issues going on in the world and everything like that. That's what our job is. And I always tell people, we're in charge of that environment. I've always been in charge of that environment. So has my wife, so has my staff. And, we work very hard on it. There's a lot of little policies that comes along with it, a lot of decisions that some people don't understand, especially people who've never been there. But you can. I'm sorry, my daughter wants a donut. Go ahead, bring it with you.
How old's your daughter now, Jay? I don't mean to interrupt. Oh, there she is. Hey,
say hi.
How's it going? Hi, how are you?
Good.
I like your dad. He's a good guy. We go way back, sort of. How old are you now?
6.5.
Oh, wow. Holy cow. I'm only 10, so I know I look a little older, but I'm 10 years old. Hey, I saw you guys on TikTok, by the way. That was pretty cool. I caught that.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing like a 50-year-old man doing TikTok, but when your 6-year-old daughter says, let's do TikTok, I've been escaping it because my wife's been trying to get me to do it for years. I'm like, get that crap away from me. You know what I mean? But my daughter was only 4 at the time. 2 years later, she's 6. She kind of, gets it now. And she's like, let's do TikTok. When I'm like, I can't say no. So here I am doing. The funny part is I've never even seen it yet because I don't have TikTok. So like we just made the video and posted it and everybody else got to see it, but I haven't got to see it yet.
Yeah, my wife had because my daughter is like, we've got her off TikTok because she's like, she's a whole, she's trouble. My daughter Emma's trouble. I don't know. She's around. I'm looking around because she might hear me. But my wife said, "Oh, look, Jay's on was on TikTok, and it's adorable." And your daughter is so intent on doing the dance. It's pretty adorable. So it's pretty cool. Because I was hoping it was just going to be you, and I was going to just like play it and not tell. Yeah, but no, it's not that type of video. So once again, you foiled me, Jay Carlucci.
I've taken a lot of heat for it. Believe me, a lot of my all my friends I grew up with, like, oh, look at you, Jay Carlucci doing TikTok. So I've taken a lot of heat. I'm going to continue to take it. So it's all good. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
And the dewdrop. I just know we had Ethan a couple of years ago. You remember this? You made the suicide swing wings for Ethan. Right.
Yep.
So as part of a fundraising effort, for which I'm grateful, because Jay's been a longtime supporter of the Valley Indy. So Ethan Fry was a reporter at the time. He's now at the Connecticut Post. He's a court reporter, but he's like, okay, I'll try the wing challenge. Now, at the time, I had no idea that there was this in terms of relevance, that there was a subculture out there of eating wings. There's that show Hot Ones. I had no idea about any of that there's competitions for wings. I was completely oblivious to all that. So, because I was so struck because Ethan used blue cheese or something like that to lessen it, and how angry the Dewdrop patrons got who were all over our wall. I was like, guys, we're raising money for nonprofits here and charities. People just
you can't use blue cheese.
Yeah, but now I realize I'm like, oh, now I get it, because I'm sitting there like arguing with people. I'm deleting people. I probably banned half the Dewdrop fans from the Valley Indy at that point.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say this because I can, because I'm lucky to say this. But people in Connecticut take their wings serious. All right, and I'll tell you right now, as popular as pizza is, the wings in Connecticut should be more popular and are better than any state in this country has. To be honest with you, there's some fantastic wing places. There are a lot more wing places in Connecticut that are fantastic compared to pizza places. And I know that may sound biased because I'm a wing guy, but you if you think about it, they're all over the place, and they're so popular now. It's insane. Everybody wants them. Everybody's doing them now. Everybody, Dewdrop isn't the only place anymore that does these fancy wings now. You could go anywhere now, and everyone has these unique flavors, these beautiful flavors. They taste incredible. Simple bars, pizza joints do them now, and there's no end in sight with it. I've seen restaurants, like legit fancy restaurants, now have them on their menu because they're that popular and that likable. I think that, obviously, I think the Dewdrop was one of the places that took it to the forefront. We pushed the button, we pushed the limit, and we were like, you know what? No, we can do something, fancy with a chicken wing and get popular for it. And we did. And now a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are following it. And I think the wing game is no joke. I mean, there's Facebook pages, the Wing Addict guys, I'm sure you heard of, or if you haven't, a lot of people know.
I've encountered those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. They're on there. They have people, their site is filled with people, not only throughout Connecticut, but throughout the states. It's that popular now. We get constant calls from everyone to show up there, to do this, to come there, come here. We have in the food game, you see these YouTubers and TikTokers now. So, that's so popular. And you see so many of them come to establishments now just to talk and eat wings. We were just on TV. Dewdrop was on TV in Cheat Day USA with Robert Irvine. And, you think about it. Here's a national television TV show that's talking about crazy food from one of the most popular restaurant entrepreneurs in the world. And here they are, little Dewdrop Inn in Derby, Connecticut, all talking about chicken wings. So I'll sit there and say chicken wings, pound for pound over any food in this state, and rightfully so, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and you know what, Jay? Maybe that's a good note to end on.
There's the leave button. All right. I don't know. Listen, I'm not very technical, okay?
This is my favorite part every year is just watching Jay. He's going to be here for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. See, by the time I click the button and get to the leave, it disappears. All right, I'm on it. Goodbye.
All right. See you.
For hundreds of years, we've brought you the news. Printed the info, we gave you the clues. Owners' profits were always sky high. Changing market now threatens our lives. Post-literation, critical reading, dumbed down nation, signs of inbreeding. TV sucking ideas from our head. Public discourse just about dead. We'll ride the dinosaur. Yeah, ride the dinosaur. Our readers are in the opens each day.